Hello everyone and welcome to Zappy Productions. This is going to be an unboxing plus an initial impression of the Laiv Harmony DAC. Now, Laiv is a local Singapore company and I contacted them and they were kind enough to actually loan me this copy to just try out for a few weeks. They were very nice and they coordinate everything, sent to my house, and this is it. Thanks to them for this loaner set to try out. Now, this was displayed on CanJam, but CanJam was really noisy, and unless, you can somehow get rid of everybody around you, most likely you cannot hear every single details, and this is what DACs are about, the very small little nuances and details which will make a difference. So now it's at home, I will try it properly and give you my first initial impression. I'll do a proper full review maybe 2 to 3 weeks time, and that will actually go more in depth. But today, I have never used this before. I only seen it on photos before, and I'll figure it out. Now, this is the inner box. There is actually an outer cardboard box with proper padding and corner holders, but that's not important because that's just purely for packaging. But it's a very good package. You will be safe when it packs to you, right? So today we'll just take a look at what's inside this box itself and see what happens. So this is instructions. So based on this, there is some instructions. There's also a remote control to turn it on and off. Select which device, settings, display. Okay, then choose input or setting. Okay, anything very important? I need to make sure that this is Singapore, NOS or OS, which is oversample or no oversample. Okay, and then these are the various inputs. Okay, great. I don't think there's anything too different. I mean, they don't look like there's also a volume control, so I think it'll be just fine plugging in directly. Okay, then connect the cables. Okay, looks fine. The important part I think is this one, which is the alignment cut for the 3 golden thing and then the spikes that go on it. Now, for the first initial impression, I'll just put it on my mat here, so I probably don't even need to take the golden stuff out. Golden holders out. I think it'll be fine. So this is the card itself, very nice card. Let's take a look at what's inside the card actually. Well, this is a metal card, 3 years warranty. Okay, then this one is the guide for the feet itself. This will allow you to easily put the 3 feet underneath the DAC. In fact, maybe I should just try it out to see how it turns out. Now, this is the DAC itself. This is the packaging of the DAC. Let's take a look at this. This is the controller. I'm pretty sure the controller. This is the cables. There's a silica gel. Let me see the cables. Let's see. It's a standard 3-pin with IEC connector. So nothing too special. You can actually replace it easily with any cables you want for the connection, for power. And then this is the controller. Now this is definitely a very, very premium controller. I mean, oh my. Can you hear the sound of the buttons? You know what? I'll just put this outside to just try later if possible. I think it's supposed to have batteries, but I'm not sure whether there batteries inside. Already filled up. But you know what? If there's no batteries, I'll just put it later. CR2032. I should have something. And then lastly, the DAC. Okay, so now that we have cleared the box, so let's take a look at the DAC. So the DAC itself comes in this very nice, I would say, string bag. And this is the DAC itself. Now the DAC is pretty heavy. Now this is a very nice knob. Let's see what's the initial impression of the buttons. Really good buttons. Oh, this is pressable too. And then these are the connectors behind. These are 3 spike feet, which I have no issues putting on my table for now. Okay, but I want to try something. So they gave a guide for this. So the guide is to allow you to put the 3 golden I'll say feet below, and then you can put the spike feet nicely on top by just aligning accordingly. It's a very smart move. I'll just put it at the edge of my table. On top. Go down. Okay. easy peasy. I pull this out. It's all set up. Now this is the easiest way to set up a spike feed. So I'm really happy. I mean, normally it's way harder to set up a spike feed. Okay, but that being said, let's connect in the cables and have a try. So I'm back and I set up the deck itself. Not very optimal position now because I just want to show you the features and stuff. And the cable I'm using is a little bit big. It's a shielded cable and it's supposed to be pretty good. But you know, my table don't have this kind of space, so I'll just put it at the edge for now like this. So once you on it, you can actually see things booting up. The screen is really big. No signal, unsupported sampling, that's correct anyway. And you can just change, oh, really intuitive. I mean, look at the screen, it's so nice. I mean, you see flickering on the thing, but I'll just tell you that in real life it's fine. So you just turn this to select the input outputs, and then you can just select, say, in this case, I select my USB. And it will tell you that USB, oversampling, and I forgot what is this. But doesn't matter, we will try it out now. Okay, now I set up everything I want to use for the test. So for the test itself, I'll be driving my digital source directly from my M17. The M will be an Enlem HPA 23RM, which I think is one of the most fantastic M, even though it's portable. Not really something you can put in the pocket, but sounds damn good. And I'll be running it through the voltage mode because this will give a more fair look at the sound compared to the current mode, at least using the composer. And this is the latest Austrian Audio's composer. I will do actually a full review really soon. Maybe, you know, the video after this initial impression is the composer's review. Do look out for it. And well, this is pretty much it. Let's try out a few songs. So for the song wise, I will try out something from YOASOBI first. Let me select. Okay, from the first try of Racing in the Night. Racing in the Night is a Japanese anime style song and it's by YOASOBI, the group. And this one is a little bit more on the lighter, brighter side. Pretty nice, very smooth, very, I would say, as engaging, and the beats are really nice. The impact is really clean. Now the thing is, how much is attributed to the deck? That is something for us to compare later, but I just give you my impressions of listening to different tracks first. So Racing in the Night is the first one. Now the next one I really want to try out. The Laiv Harmony here is actually an R2R deck. So normally this is associated with a slightly smoother signature, slightly more enjoyable type of signature that brings out, you know, both the details but give you the extra, I would say, as I guess, smooth factor, enjoyment factor, not too sure. Something I want to really hear. So one of the songs I will try out is Ibarra, which is a song that normally I use for a lot of my reviews. Let me boot it up. So actually my first impression of Ibarra straight away with this is that, you know, okay, I just have to say that yesterday I was trying to review the composer properly, so I was recording a lot of my impressions and thoughts. So yesterday I was mainly driving with the M17, so I'm pretty sure that this is a lot smoother. And not only that, the sibilance is also lesser when using the Enlem itself together with the composer. It's lesser in sibilance, which I really like. And also I find that the vocals are kind of slightly forward to me. I just feel like, you know, it's a little bit more bodied, a little bit more forward, a little more enjoyable, I guess. And then most importantly, the bass itself is also, it feels slightly tighter. Now, I'm not too sure, you know, this is all something I feel on initial impression, but now it's time for me to do a simple comparison. Compared to the M17, how does it compare to? I mean, the M17 is a portable DAC, amp, DAP, all in one, and it runs a dual ESS, I believe the flagship of 9038 QM. So this is a very standard one that you can get in many I would say as mid to entry level decks these days, and this is like the state of the art R2R. So what's the difference between both of them? I just want to try it out and give you a little bit of feedback on that. So I'll just continue listening to Ibarra a little bit more, then I'll switch over and I'll plug it in and then we'll try it. So I've completed an initial impression between the Laiv Harmony versus the M17. And I would just say the difference is quite noticeable, really noticeable. I mean, straight up, you'll feel that the sound is bigger. And it is not just bigger in just, the feel of the soundstage is actually bigger itself. I usually like to imagine the soundstage and put a left and right marker to it. I think the soundstage on the Laiv Harmony is about 10% bigger. That is the feel I get out of it. And then when I actually listen to it, I also noticed that on the M17 it's very focused in the center itself, making the sound a little bit more compressed and small, versus the Laiv Harmony, which tends to spread everything out and also makes positioning and separation slightly better because things are more spread out now, especially in the track of Ibarra, which has a lot of guitars, singing, drums all around. You can hear some guitars at the top left-hand corner, which is very nice and interesting. And then I also noticed that there is less sibilance. It just feels a little bit more tame, a bit smoother throughout the entire frequency itself. Now, this is of course my first impression of the Laiv Harmony versus the M17 using the Ibarra track. I'll try one more track to just close off this initial impression, and I also want to show you some functions that I found just now. So for the second music I'm going to try is the Wish from Mercury soundtrack. This is actually the main battle soundtrack itself. It's really nice. There's some chanting. There's a lot of various instruments spread all around. A lot of nice, quick hitting bass. And just want to see how it sounds like with this particular track. So without wasting time, I will try it out now. I will start from I think the 2 minutes mark. That's what I tried the previous time. Now for the second track, for the Wish from Mercury, I think the difference is firstly the sound from the Laiv Harmony is really bigger. It is like it kind of like surrounds you slightly, significantly more actually compared to the M17. The sound is also a touch warmer, I guess, just a little small touch warmness, very very minor, and probably you listen to certain tracks and critical listening, like in this case, then can you hear a difference? The bass is also a slight bit tighter on this, just a slight bit. I can just feel it when there's a certain part where there's like 3 or 4 drum beats. I think around, I don't know, the 2 minutes something mark, of this song. There's this small little drum beats that's there, and it's obvious that it's just slightly tighter. And most importantly, I guess, is the atmosphere of the sound. It just feels like surrounding you using the Laiv Harmony. Well, once I switch over to M17, it feels like, it became a flat music that it's there, it's good, but it's a little bit more flatter, a little less atmosphere, a little bit less layering, just everything a bit lesser. But the thing is, you can probably only notice this if you do what I do today, like side-by-side comparison. So that's really something to know. I mean, there is definitely difference between this and the M17, and I really think it should have, because the topology is different, the price point is also different. But I think that it does make at least the 2 tracks I've listened today better in every single way, in terms of the dispersion of the sound slightly, so that it's a bit more enjoyable and smooth, the slight extra smoothness at the top end, the more punchier, tighter bass, a little bit more control there, and then most importantly, the nicer atmosphere of the sound, where there's a little bit more layering, it surrounds you, it gives you that really nice feel when you're listening to soundtracks. That is really my initial impression. I mean, I could go on a little bit deeper when I have more time, but I don't want to keep this initial impression too long. But overall, I think it's a very enjoyable ride there. Now, there's something I just want to show before we end off, and just show it like this. So when you press this button here, you can actually change like to NOS and OS, which is no oversampling and oversampling. And then if you rotate, you can reset the whole deck. And then there's about, I'm going to take a look at it, firmware 1, and then I2S input and what's not, coaxial input, all the various firmwares. Okay, and then there is I2S. Then you can choose the mode, clock. Not too sure what's this. I do not follow it too much. And then let's see, display. What can I change? Track info. I can actually choose show. Oh, okay. Oh, there's also delay. No, I don't know what's that for. I think that's the menu. Then there is BRT. Pretty much that's about it. Let's see. And the remote. Let's see. Oh, function 1, function 2. You can actually configure what the remote does. Interesting. And then let's see, phase. You can change positive phase or negative phase. I guess this one is only for very specific reason. I'll just choose the positive and keep it there. And that's already about it. That's all for the DAC, at least when it comes to front functions. Now let's take a look at behind before we end this video. So this is the back panel of the DAC itself, and you can see that, you know, the outputs here, and then there's the inputs here, and then there's the power and chassis. I think this is grounding. So pretty much these are all the inputs you get. So it is actually quite well laid out, and the build quality is really fantastic. I mean, look at all this. Everything is like bolted on, no things are wiggling. I really like the build quality of this DAC. So it is all around a good DAC in terms of build quality. It feels great, looks great, and sounds pretty great too. Now, I think personally I own the Hugo TT. I think this is a significantly better build quality than Hugo TT to me. And it looks nicer too, at least version compared to the version I have. And the screen is really nice and big, so it's easy to view what you want to see. Of course, the Hugo TT is a headphone amp, while this one is just purely a DAC. So, of course, there is some difference. But overall, I think this is very nice, a very good showing. And I'm interested to actually listen more to it in the future. But for today, I think that's really about it. And I'll see you guys next time. We'll actually review the composer. The composer is really nice. But now, with this DAC here, I may want to change a little bit of what I want to write, because it actually does improve the composer sound signature quite, I'll say, as a bit to me, because previously it was a little more sibilant, but now it's like, wow, it's bigger, smoother, less sibilant. It is actually a really nice combo here. I'm definitely enjoying this DAC here. I'll probably be a little bit sad when I return it, but you know, I have a few weeks with it, and I just want to give it my all for this DAC to try it out and give you a good review for it. And that's about it for today. Thanks a lot for watching this initial impression, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.